All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to New Comic Book Day Book Club. It is Wednesday night. We got a great new book to talk about. And I'm John's Comics with Kids. You're here on my channel. We got a whole crew of 10 already in the chat, chatting it up. We've already got 3 likes. I'm going to hit that like button. And then, of course, my co-host, as always, is Alec at White Whale Comics.
Hello, I'm Alec at White Whale Comics.
And our special guest this week from The Hunt. You've seen him on Tony Sanders' channel. You may have seen him chatting with Bueller. This guy's everywhere. This is Jeffrey KomiKhan Henson.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
He's the Hulk fan, and dude, I won one of his contests, and his giveaways are legit. So when he's doing his next subscriber giveaway, be there. So sub him up, and I think for the first time ever, I was really good about putting people's links in my description, so you can find everybody's links and say hi and sub each other up. But for today, we are reviewing and discussing Die by Stephanie Hans, and I'm going to mess up the writer's name. Somebody having a Kieron Gillen.
I think that's right.
Yeah, that was what I went with.
I'm going to say that's a win. I'm saying that's a win. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I was not sure what this was. I saw giant X's. I'm like, is this an X-Men crossover or something? Saw that it was Image, and then it was like Die. I'm like, this sounds very violent. And then I got the double meaning, because right away I saw it was a Dungeons and Dragons theme. So already I was like, I'm in for this. This is about playing board games. I'm in.
Hey, Decaf Raven, nice to see you.
A lot of people in the chat. I'm gonna say hi to everyone, but can I just say I love Big Will's entrance that he's been using. I have arrived.
Yeah, we do have a lot of great folks in the chat. So let's see. Yeah. Decaf Raven's here. Hulk Nuts was in right away with Decaf. Comics NYC, Nerd vs. Fat. Kachung is here. I mailed your box the other day, Kachung. I think I told you already. Sam's Tangled Web, I've made you a moderator. You're a moderator for everybody else, so I figured you're going to be a moderator for me now. So you're going to put you to work there. Hulk Collector's in here. Wingnut, as always, I think I shouted you out.
Tony Sanders, bro, what's up?
What's up, Tony?
Brett Hess. And then Big Will makes his big entrance. How's it going, everybody? So I will tell you right off the bat, I've only seen a couple of Stephanie Hans covers. I'm not super familiar. I just know that when I've seen
one, I gave you that one.
I've liked it. Yeah, that's one of the few. That's the only one I own that I know that I own.
It's the only one I have too.
I'm on the verge of buying the Virgin version of that.
Of that Miss Marvel.
That's the one I have. Yeah, 1 in 500.
Yeah, think I should go for it.
Now, yeah, it depends upon how much you can get it for. Like, yeah,
$50 shipped.
Yeah, that's less than what I paid for it.
Well, Alex instantly on it. He's heading right over to Instagram right now.
I honestly, I'd say if you can get it for like under $70.
All right, I'll do that after the show.
For those of you that did not pick up the book, the little background is I felt like, for an issue 1, this story is absolutely packed. You have multiple huge worlds to sort of explain. You have multiple timelines and then multiple characters. It would be easy for this book to get absolutely bogged down with exposition and confusing things. And I was definitely confused from time to time. But I say overall, I was surprised by how well I was able to understand what was happening.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, like, I come from, like RPG video games. I don't have any experience in like D&D. And I went right along with it. It wasn't over my head or anything like that. Really, really good.
So I am a huge board gamer. So this was right in my wheelhouse. I actually want to start. Can we start at the cover?
Do it.
So first of all, cover of the year. Like I am 100% on board with this cover. It is so great.
Yeah.
And did anyone else realize that this shape is an unfolded dice?
It's a 20 die. 20. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I had to figure out. Once I knew that it was about dice and RPG games, which again, I was a Dungeons and Dragons guy. Even like as early as like 8 or 9 years ago, I had a regular game. So yeah, once I knew that's what it was, I stopped seeing X-Men giant X's, and I started realizing it was a filleted die.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like when obviously I'm coming into it not knowing anything about this book, as most of us are. But you hear die, and I'm just thinking like die, death, murder, violence, But after you read the book, you realize it's got a double meaning. Obviously.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Decaf Raven says it'd be cool if they did similar covers with different colors for the first arc. I believe they are. I saw the cover for issue 2.
Issue 2's cover is right here at the back, and it's very similar. It looks like another one of the main characters being highlighted, but with a similar style.
Right.
Gorgeous.
So do we want to like start right at the beginning with timelines? Because obviously we start in the past right off the bat.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's probably one of the...
Because it's a confusing story. I think it would be easy to get lost in it.
It is.
So I think it was NYC said it's like D&D Jumanji, and like that's
once totally you realize what's going on though, like it's not as confusing. Like you figure you're like, how do they just jump so far ahead? And then you kind of realize that what just all happened is kind of how I did. I mean, I read the book 3 times, and I just because it was enjoyable for one, but after you sit there and you realize everything that's going on, it didn't seem too confusing. I didn't think, but
I read up on the concept before I read it, so I kind of had the backstory a little bit that I knew it did a time jump at least. So
yeah, I mean, and that element,
it's a big time jump too.
And yeah, I actually there's a middle time. I mean, we start in 1991. We start with a gang of friends that are getting together for a birthday party RPG game night.
Right.
And then we don't really see exactly what happens. We do see that this is going to be an unusual game, these characters. Then we jump to a short while later, a few years, and then we jump almost immediately right after that to 25 years later, where the rest of the story kind of plays out.
Yeah.
So you have these 3 time frames, but really the middle one is just one page.
It's just kind of like a bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I tell you, speaking of me being a big board gamer, I'm such a nerd that like when they're talking at the beginning, handing out the die, I was like, oh, how does this game work? And I was
right.
And then at the end, in the little thing at that the writer wrote up, they're like, oh, we designed a whole game. I was like,
they didn't come out with it because it would spoil
issue 5, but right. You better believe I am gonna play that game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was thinking this.
We should play.
We're gonna live stream it.
Yeah,
we're gonna live stream the
game for sure.
So yes, that would be cool.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it, and then like not only does it jump 25 years in the future, then it jumps to the alternate universe. So there's like 3 jumps.
Almost. Yeah, and you gotta remember they don't come back the same as they left either.
Yeah, they're very different.
Yeah, the one girl lost an arm.
Right, right.
Clearly they've been into some crap.
They had scars. I know Dominic
on his chest
or something like that. And then obviously one didn't even come back at all.
Yeah, spoilers.
Oh, is there no spoilers on here?
No, there's full spoilers.
Definitely a spoilers channel for sure.
Sorry.
So there are a handful of major characters, and we've got these are the group of 4 friends, and then we have the brother and sister who are the main characters. At least in my opinion, the main characters
who are also metalheads. So throw up them holes.
Yeah.
Right.
And they sort of pick their characters of who they're going to be. They're each given a sort of unusual die, each one a slightly different die. and then the second the dice sort of start to levitate or something here.
Yeah.
We don't get to see what happens.
I love how all of their character classes aren't like typical D&D classes. They're all like super unique and specific to the book, which I thought was really good, really clever.
And I'm happy to nerd on that because my friend and I, who I played D&D and stuff with, also played this generic universal role play systems, GURPS.
Yeah.
It was the same kind of thing where people could invent a lot of things. There was a lot of freedom to it, and this seems there's a lot of elements of that I thought were really kind of interesting.
So
I think Kieron kind of has a good question.
Is jumping right to the end, but it's a good question, so I think we should address it for sure. He said, "Did Solomon send his die back to get them to return?" It sure seems that way because it kind of like recalls to him, and he sticks in his eyeball.
I mean, like the only other thought is like Solomon's mom. You know, she kind of plays that crazy kind of deranged lady now. I wasn't sure where they were trying to go with that character because it's his birthday and his wife wakes up and he's just like, Dominic's just like no presents, and then all of a sudden Solomon's mom's at the door telling him he was never a good friend and all that stuff. But
yeah, so when we jump 25 years later, we can see that even surviving for 2 years in this other game, not only has it left them scarred, they left a friend behind. It seems like they've all kept secrets about it. It reminded me of two things. Firstly, like It, right? Stephen King's It, where you've got the young kids who are then years later dealing still with
the scars of the trauma. Yeah, definitely.
And then also of Lost, when the season of for me, I got my John Locke figure out from oh my gosh, Sasquatch gave me this, but it reminded me of the season where several of them got off of the island, and you know, spoiler alert, they were trying to figure out how to get back again, and there were definitely elements of the island for me here. You know, that idea that they get together again because one of the die reappears, and they have to decide what to do, and of course, it instantly puts them right back in the trouble where they were. Again, several people have mentioned Jumanji, and there's definitely a connection there.
So they have that geas or gaze, whatever you want to call, placed on, which I didn't know. Like maybe you guys do because I think that's a D&D term, but I didn't know what that meant, so I had to look it up. And they keep referring to it, and that's like it's a magical command that's forcing them to refrain from talking about anything.
Right. So they literally can't talk about it. It's not that they don't want to talk about it.
Right. So like that's one of the things that they keep talking about in there is, I can't talk about it. But then when they go back, you know, the last time they take it off finally. But
yeah, they all seem like pretty relieved when they're like, oh, we can talk about it again. I've been able to say that for 25 years.
Right. That's what prompted me to go look it up because I didn't think a whole lot of it until like, oh, now we finally can. Like you said, they felt relieved for some reason. So I was like, well, I better go see what that word means so I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I will say I didn't know. I wasn't familiar with that term either, but I did sort of assume it had something to do with whatever was keeping them mum, you know, whatever that was. Can I talk a little bit? Jeffrey and I are having a discussion where he seemed to understand it right away, but it took me a little while to realize that's Dominic on the cover there.
Yeah.
And or is it Ash? Because they refer to him in one part of the book as Ash, and I was like, well, why did they do that?
And that's like his character name or his nickname in the game. And so I don't remember him saying that he was going to play a female character, and I got to remember what they said.
Yeah,
when everybody
right at the beginning, he says she is blah blah blah.
Yeah, when they're giving their die, look at that part where they're giving them their die, and he tells them, "My character is kind of a diplomat with teeth. She's like a cross."
Now I see it because I thought that was his sister at first, and I realized she's the cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because he's a pretty long blonde-haired gentleman,
and sometimes they get in really close in the frame, and it's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, I think the reason I got it is because of that cyberpunk thing. They set that up where, like, even walking in, Angela's like, "I want to be a cyberpunk," and he's like, "Well, I don't know what kind of games it's going to be, so don't get your hopes up." So when
you land in this splash page,
and what a page that is!
It's a gorgeous chance to see them as their characters. So the brother and the sister are right. She's here and he's there, and she's now got what was a missing arm is now some kind of a metal arm.
Yeah,
right in there. And then you have the the three friends that we know so far that we've spent time with in the future, 25 years later, and we're just missing Solomon.
Right, who shows up at the last page.
Which was the question that that somebody
last
had.
page was killer, man, wasn't it? I thought that was awesome looking.
There are a lot of I really like her art. I think it's great. I think there were a few panels that were a little awkward, but like the panels where she kills it, she knocks it out of the park.
Right, like there's, I agree. Like this one panel, like I'm kind of like, can you see that? It looked a little like, you know, it's up towards the front, but everything else was knocked out of the park. I thought, especially that last page right here, like bam.
Yeah, that splash page, right? Yeah. At the end, that final page is the reveal of what Solomon has become, because he's got those eyes. That seem to both,
right?
Yeah, they seem to both be 20-sided dice now.
Yeah, Hulknut said the artwork worked perfectly with the story. Yeah, I think they paired really well with each other.
Ooh, Decaf says maybe Ash is short for like Ashley, as though, you know, he has the desire to be seen more as a female.
Kind of what I was thinking, or at least his character, maybe, right? Like, because I was tripping. I was like, not tripping, but I was thinking like, why even refer to him as Ash once? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It just confused me at first until I went back and I was like, oh, that's probably calling her Ashley, Ashley, because that's the character.
I've played female characters in D&D before, so
yeah, no, for sure, I too,
but if he's playing those characters,
understanding the story,
and I've had friends that played characters that always had the same name, like it didn't matter what we were playing, they always played.
They just had their D&D name.
And then they would just shape them to whatever scenario or campaign they were playing. So it's possible that every time these guys and gals play, he goes by Ash because he's always playing this Ashley character, and that's just, everybody calls him that.
Yeah, I know for sure.
I really enjoyed the voice of the narration and how it was Dominic, right? And he's like kind of referencing what he's saying himself, where he's like, "Oh, that's a lie," and stuff like that.
For sure, when he's talking about having that conversation with Isabel or whatever and all that.
I really like that interplay of how he was like telling the story, but also telling it from a different perspective at the same time.
Yeah, and it was almost like in those moments he wasn't being held by the spell. He could narrate to us the truth, but when he was telling to other people, he was unable to do that, right?
Right, because as a narration as us, it's probably more like a thought in his head.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's also being told in the past tense, so he may be telling this after everything has happened.
Ooh, yeah. Wow. Ooh, just got another layer.
This book had my head running, man. Like, just like what's coming next, you know? Like, I think there's so many. They didn't really tell us anything, but yet they gave us an idea, and I mean, they could go so many different ways. I feel like with this right now.
Mr. Corral said, "Did I buy this?"
People in the chat say that they played different versions of role play games. There's a lot of people. I see orc barbarians, and I see dwarves. Sorry, it's awesome. So many people that are willing to confess their nerd sides.
Yeah, NYC says, "I like the mystery of the 2-year gap." Hello, Bueller, to the fourth wise man. Yeah, I think like it's really interesting that we're not immediately going back to see what happened there. Like, it's clearly going to be moving forward, and I'm guessing we're going to get that piece by piece.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to have, for me, again, I compare it a lot to Lost. There seems to be this like life on the island and then life after the island and then needing to go back, and sort of so many layers of backstory that need to get filled in. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, and is this like one of those things where like it's a game, they finally beat the game, and then they go back to that very first day in like 1991 on their 16th birthday, you know? Like, is that like nothing happened or something, you know? Like,
well, yeah, it doesn't seem that way, because like time clearly has passed in the game.
Right.
And Decaf makes the same comment. Is it 2-year gap the same in the game as in reality, or is it possible that the time in the game felt longer than just 2 years, like it does in Narnia?
Right, or in that issue of Batman where he has to fight in that world against all those millions of hordes. I don't know if you read that issue.
I don't think I did.
It was in the Tom King run.
Was it earlier than way before the wedding?
It was slightly before the wedding.
Was this the one with was it Booster Gold?
No.
Okay.
I'll figure out. I'll tell you off air which issue it was. I don't remember offhand. But it was an interesting issue. He had to he gave this guy who's there forever, just endlessly battling this endless army. He goes with Wonder Woman to give him a break. But same sort of thing where the timelines don't add up, where on Earth it's just a couple minutes sort of thing, if I remember correctly.
That's interesting. Okay. So then I guess the question becomes, did Solomon call them back? And if so, what do we think is his purpose? I mean, it's clearly got to be malevolent, right?
Yeah. I mean, is he bitter that they left him? Or is he now oh, I'm the master of the game now and you're going to play it my way?
But we don't even know how they got back. We don't even know that they left him, though. Really,
right.
I mean, they showed up. One of them was missing an arm. Maybe they were in a fight, and somehow Solomon cast them back to save them. Or
there's even a line, isn't there, about how they're not sure if he died or if he was just captured, right?
Yeah, no. All they know is that he was captured, and then the die all of a sudden showed back up today. So they were thinking that he's. Well, Dominic says he's thinking that Solomon sent it back for them to return. And then Isabel goes, what do you think? If Solomon sent the die back covered in blood, that means he's dead or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, Solomon definitely, from his perspective, they left him.
Well, and NYC says, and I do remember in the story where Solomon's implying that he's killed the previous master of this world and taken one of his 20-sided dies to put in his own head. So if he's done that, does that make him even more all-powerful than he seemed to be when he was the sort of dungeon master of the game?
Sorry, I'm reading the chat here. They ditched him and he's pissed and now he's got the power. Yeah, I
mean, that's the logical idea, that they left him behind and he's upset. The other side of the coin is he sent them back to save them, and now is so powerful he wants to play the game the correct way.
Yeah, he's clearly lost his mind a little bit either way. So whether or not he's being malicious, he is being, it's possible that he's he's become so obsessed with it that he's we have to play the game. We have to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's, kind of he's gone mad from it, right?
Yeah, there's a power pad thing going on there.
Brett has says, just wait till Netflix picks it up. Yeah.
Hey,
hell of a TV show.
I think both of the image books that we've read lately would translate well visually and cinematically.
Yeah. Oh man, this would make a great video game. They could do whatever they wanted to. I think with this right now, this reminds me of everything that I used to watch on Saturday morning, in the 80s. You know what I mean? All those cartoons, even the fantasy movies, stuff like that. That's totally the vibe this had, at least with me. All those are what do you Willow?
Never-ending story.
Yeah, never-ending story.
And even
I got a list of stuff right here. Yeah, exactly. Neverland, Peter Pan, Robin Hood's Sherwood Forest, He-Man's Eternia, the Dark Crystal, all these things.
Kachun makes a really great point, and somebody else, Hulk Collector, thanks for spotting it. He was saying that Solomon must have played this before, because he's the one who brings these magic dice to them.
But didn't he say that he created the game?
He created it. Yeah.
He might be lying.
Yeah,
Well, what if it's the dice that are magical? The game is what he created,
but he might have some motivation to bring
It's
them
like
in.
the dice are like the monkey's paw.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Because the game was created as a gift, as a birthday present, and even in the book, Dominic's talking about like, even with all the bad stuff that happens, he still thinks that's one of the greatest things that ever happened was that Solomon created this game for him for his birthday.
Even though it went poorly, like the thought behind it was what counted.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Hulknut says he went from lawful to chaotic alignment change. Yes, it's exactly.
Which also has that like Ready Player
Dr. Doom
kind of aspect, right? The fact that you'd have an alternate identity and travel into this game to kind of live out a fantasy. There's that Ready Player One aspect.
Yeah, Decaf says he knew enough to give himself the most powerful die. Yeah, I mean, assuming
that's a great point.
Like, who knows what the game's mechanics are though? Because a D4 it might be the sort of thing where it's like you have to get better than half of what the dice value is to have a successful hit, for example. So a D20 would be worse than a D4 in that case.
Look at this. You just mathed us.
I told you I'm a game nerd.
This is not economic.
That's what makes this. We need that though for this book. That's a definite.
So quickly, poll list. Is this on your poll list, guys? Are you gonna make this a book that you get from now on?
Yeah, for sure. I'll drop.
You bet.
I'll drop almost anything. Like right now, there's a lot of books I would drop over this.
Like I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it cover to cover, but for the cover alone, like I'll buy this book.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. I think I'm going to go and drop a couple of books, and this is going to take that place for sure.
Crowded is going to be the first one off my list for this.
And for me, like, I'm almost getting to the point where it's hard doing this show because like, I don't want more books. Like, I want
more books like this. This is what I want.
I almost feel like I want bad books. Like, I want really good books.
But
the one shots are nice, right?
Like, I'm probably also going to buy a hardcover of this though. So like, what the hell am I doing?
That'll probably come with the game when you buy the game, right? You get the trade paperback hardcover or something like that.
There you go. So before we get into the debate question tonight, I really wanted to take a moment and just thank a bunch of people that have just been super supportive of this show, and Alec and I and all of our awesome guests like Jeffrey. We've mentioned I Got Issues before, Decaf Raven, Comics NYC. These are guys, Hulk Nuts, who constantly throw things out on Instagram and remind people about our show, and we just really
community.
That. No, for sure.
And then on YouTube, Comic Tom and Ryan have been mentioning us every week on their show on Wednesdays, and then Ryan is even throwing out a few Instagram nods our way. So thank you to all those guys. And then lastly, I want to mention Wingnuts, because like every time the show ends, I instantly go to Instagram, and the first thing I find is him leaving me a nice little comment saying something nice about the book or about his day or about whatever. And I just really appreciate that. And Wingnuts, you are absolutely awesome. So thank you for all that stuff, all that support.
Yeah, he really supports my channel also, man. Great guy.
Yeah.
All these guys, I know like everybody. I know everybody in the chat here, like I talk to him almost on a personal level, like Chun, Comic Books NYC, Sam, Decaf.
And now Sam's working hard for me, and I made Ryan a moderator too, but I don't think he picked up this book this week. I don't know if he got this as one of his books.
No, he did. I think he said he read it and it was awesome, right?
Okay.
I saw on Instagram, I'm pretty sure.
So thank you to those people. Oh, sorry, did you want to say something, Alec?
No, I wanted to echo your sentiment of like, even the people who just show up every week, even if you don't shout us out, like I still really appreciate the support, because we're just doing this for fun, and to have people who are like return viewers, like that's amazing. Thank you guys.
Yeah, like Brett Hess is in here every time. I mean, if I'm not saying your name, I'm sorry, because there's so many people, but like it's just really cool that there's all these people that are
TJ and DS, and like TJ is like always on everything for everyone, and he's like
And on top of
He's the
that,
best.
TJ, like when I have a question about a comic or some original art or something, TJ was like one of the first people I went to with like Sam and just asked, and they were so quick to respond. Oh,
Yeah.
what do you got there? You're bragging about Hulk?
Yeah, I'm showing off of Immortal Hulk number 10.
Dude, it's a killer cover. I mean, all those.
I figured Hulk Nuts picked it up today. He probably read that one.
So,
really quickly before we do our debate topic,
go ahead, yeah.
Can I just say that I know we were thinking about doing Shazam this week.
I didn't even get that book, but
I'm so glad we did Shazam twice in a row.
It was. Did you read it?
No.
It was average at best.
See, then maybe we should have picked it up. I'd have less money going out of my wallet.
Yeah. Martian Manhunter didn't catch me either.
Well, the covers, I like Martian Manhunter covers.
Yeah, I got
I'm not gonna buy for
the Middleton cover because it was there. But
so
imaginary 5,000 super chat to all of you. That's awfully generous.
Oh, big Will.
Thanks, right?
I'm gonna cash that at my imaginary comic shop too. So
once we get to 1,000 subs and we can actually have super chats, I expect
actual
to turn to realistic super chats.
No, I'm gonna buy an imaginary AF-15 with that.
Get a 0.5 if you're lucky.
Speaking of imaginations, that was another thing I was talking about with Die Issue 1. It reminds me of the time when like all you had for entertainment was your imagination. You know, like
that's a great point.
Because when I was a kid, this is what it was. Me and my friends, we'd go out and we just make up whatever. You know, cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers, all this. And you know, that as a kid back in the early '90s, late '80s, this is what we did. You know.
And my friend and I, we had the game we played was called When We're the Guys. That was the whole name of the game. And you could be anybody. I'm Wolverine, and he's Han Solo, and my buddy is Indiana Jones. It doesn't matter. Like, we're just running around being goofballs. We just called it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So, debate topic. Sorry, derailed.
Yeah, go ahead, Alec. You throw it out there.
The debate topic this week is, since this is set in these characters getting transported to a fantasy world, what fantasy or sci-fi world would you most like to exist in?
So you can go to any movie, TV series, comic book, fictional book, whatever you like. Where would you choose to go? What fantasy or science fiction world would you choose to live in? And I had a hard time with this one because of several that I thought about. I'm like, I wouldn't last 5 minutes there. Like, at first, I'm like, oh, Star Wars would be cool, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm dead in minutes there. I'm not gonna last a second on Tatooine. I'm gonna be in the Sarlacc pit, or I'm gonna be screaming at Jabba's palace or something. I'm dead meat.
Hulk Nut says, "Why the last man?"
Oh,
but he's the last man.
Dude, honestly, York is lucky he did not get castrated, dude. That's
a dangerous line you're towing.
That's a dangerous world, man. As much as it would be like, hey, all those ladies, whatever, but like you're going down a definite rabbit hole there.
Aliens, you sure about that, Kachung?
I know, man, right?
Game over. Yes, I would be dead there too, Kachung. This is what I'm saying. There's so many of these great sci-fi worlds, and I'd be like,
I'm not surviving. Decaf Raven says Hogwarts. I have the definitive answer, so I'm going to wait.
Well, then I was going to say Decaf chose the one that I would have picked. And I was bummed that Matt's not in here because I would totally go with Harry Potter.
I thought you were going to pick Hogwarts.
Yeah, I would straight up go. And I'll be a muggle. I don't care. Like, I'm fine. Like, whatever. I don't want to face Voldemort. I'm not dealing with any of that garbage. But to be in that one. Yeah,
someone say 40K. Yeah, right, Wingnut. Talk about not surviving in a world.
Somebody say Kroll? Oh my gosh.
Kroll
Archie, NYC, that's a great one. Archie, yeah.
Is that fantasy though?
Yeah, well, it is now.
Now with Sabrina,
fantasy. Yeah. That's a great one, actually. I dig that one. Fifth Element.
Are we giving out our answers right now?
Yeah, you go ahead, Jeffrey. You do yours.
Okay, well, I'm going to give out like one honorable mention first. My first thought was the Oasis from Ready Player One because, you know, you could go anywhere. Pretty much
that's a good one.
Fantasy, right?
But the real world is terrible.
But at the end of the day, you come out in the real world. So I don't know. The one that I picked was Neverland from the Peter Pan book, not Michael Jackson's house, but Neverland, Peter Pan, from the book Peter Pan. And I would take being a lost boy all day.
That's a
even fighting pirates.
That's a great
man. Never grow up. Read comic books all day, every day.
I got issues is asking what the question is. The question, our debate topic, I got issues is what fantasy world or science fiction world would you choose to live in if you could live in one? So far, there's a lot of great ones in the chat, but yeah, Neverland is a great idea.
I mean, because you think about it, the worst thing you got to face is Captain Hook, and he's a
bumbling butt.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Right, like so.
Although those mermaids seem like in a lot of trouble.
No one is choosing.
It's just kind of like we got trouble here on the real world. Like those mermaids.
Star Trek. That's a great one.
Yep. That's the one I got issues. That is the definitive answer.
Oh, all right. Lay it down then. Lay down your rationale.
It is the Earth has been perfected. It is fully peaceful and harmonious, and everything is about exploration and peace finding. And again, but I would still, the prime directive is the idea of the perfection of Star Trek is the world I want to live in.
Or as Hulknut says, to bang aliens.
Well, yeah. Give me that. Sign me up for one Ferengi, please.
Right. Well, and then you don't. It's not like you have to go out on the Enterprise, right? You could just stay on Earth, where it's a perfect society. You don't need to
chill in Argentina, the capital of the world.
Yeah, you don't have to fight Klingons or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in Star Wars, every planet is like a death threat.
Isn't Captain Marvel? Isn't she an alien technically, right?
Well, we got to find out what they do with her in the movies, but in the comics, I don't think she is, right? She's a human who gets these powers.
Pretty though, so
yeah, I don't know. Where's Tony?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tony. He can throw that out.
On Dagobah, yeah.
Big Will says there's the Borg. You gotta watch it.
I mean, like, well, no red shirts. Hey, TNG only.
One of the shirts that Kate's got on her Amazon wish list says it's got the red shirt and the little, the Star Trek logo, and it says, "This is my lucky red shirt."
My lucky red shirt.
Looks like Yoda
is banging every alien.
Dagobah. She was born a human sometime in the movie. Yeah, never-ending story. Although it seems like that place is always falling apart every few years.
You got the nothing and
I can't remember the name of the wolf.
T.J. Watson says, as a kid, I thought we would as a world be like the Federation by now. Imagine my disappointment. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, that's a disappointment a lot of us share there, TJ.
It is the exact opposite.
Nowhere, go where no man has gone before.
Oh man, these are awesome answers. There's a lot of good stuff going on in that chat.
Just don't own a horse. Go never-ending story. Too soon.
So do we want to share a little bit of what we're all going to be having on our channels this week?
Yeah, you got to go for it.
Hey, Jeffrey, what do you got coming up?
What's today? Wednesday, right? Friday, we got the hunt. We got the hunt Friday with me and Tony Sanders. We've got a special guest, real cool guy coming on our show this week. This gentleman right here, John's Comics with Kids.
The future winner?
Yeah, probably. You got that luck, man. So, yeah.
Tony's going to light this up, man. That guy, Tony lights that show up, man. You got to watch out for him. Ryan, you're a moderator. Get used to it. Work hard, man.
Hey.
DS Comics says Legend is the coolest devil in the history of movies. Yeah, Tim Curry, man. Can't go wrong with Tim Curry.
Ooh, yeah. But I don't want to live there either.
No.
So, okay, you posted a video today too, right?
Oh, yeah, I did. Just comics today, new comic book Wednesday pickups. I got that posted. Saturday, I got a live stream. Me and Just a Rican are doing a show. We're going to be switching off every week. One week it'll be on my channel. The next week it'll be on his. I believe we're going to do it on my channel this week. That'll be Saturday at 4 p.m. Pacific. And then Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific, this Saturday, I got a special guest. I'm going to be on live with Bueller from Comics with Bueller. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that show or not.
No,
He's pretty cool.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if you haven't heard of that show, you know, he's pretty cool. He really knows his stuff. And we're going to get together and talk about some things, maybe like trying ways, you know, like preserving. I want to talk about like how to preserve the history of comic books, and more so like the guys that have been there and done it, the writers, the artists, things like that, because the books get preserved. And I hear people will pull out a book and they'll be like, oh yeah, this is like a Herb Trimp cover, which, you know, is true. But like sometimes the guys who do a lot of the work inside of the book, they don't get their names out, you know. And
yeah, that's a great point.
Just because the people that are like, Donnie Cates is awesome. We got Stephanie Hunt art, awesome. But there were people before that, and sometimes I feel like they get lost a little bit in all of today's hype and things. So.
Yeah, you look at that Comic Links auction just ended with a bunch of the original art, and like a lot of it said like artist unknown, which depresses the hell out of me. So,
right, like there's one guy that I'm really looking forward to getting to talk about in specific this week, and his name's Mike Esposito. He worked for DC and Marvel, went under the pseudonym Mickey DeMeo, I think, too. Did some work back with John Romita Jr. and things like that. You know, just kind of bring some guys that maybe like didn't get a bunch of attention and still, you know, don't really get a whole lot of attention because, you know, they deserve that too.
That's awesome, Jeffrey. So when that's with Bueller on his channel or yours?
My channel, 8 p.m. this Saturday.
All right, cool. Alec, what do you got coming up?
Well, yeah, I mean, I did a 3-hour chat last night. I think.
You did a magnum Lord of the Rings opus.
Oh, that was awesome though.
Yeah,
and I was gonna say, like, I had to watch it on double speed, which I don't often do, because the voices make me giggle when they're on double speed. But it was amazing. You had Reggie in that first block, then you had Bueller and Tony Sanders, who's going to lose on his own channel Friday night, and you had Economics
and Comics, who I'd never even met before.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, me neither. That was really cool to see him on, man. That was good.
So that was cool that they all were willing to jump in, and because you know, that's just a flying by my seat of my pants show.
And then you also had your Turner video dropped a few days before, which I finally got around to finishing, and that was a great video too. That guy was amazing, and it was nice to hear the real human, like almost like Jeffrey's saying, the side of him that, like, we obviously are sad that he was gone so early and that he did so many amazing pieces of art. We're lucky and fortunate for that, but to hear the stories of the kind of human he was kind of a special addition to that episode.
Big Will, yes, my email is on the last video, and it is whitewhalecomics@gmail.com, so it's on this video too. Hulknut's still not getting notifications from my channel. You blocking me? No, bro. Why would I do that? I don't even know how to do that. We were just talking about how I didn't know how to make someone a moderator. Never mind blocking.
I had to learn how to do notifications.
Yeah. So otherwise, I'm gonna have another artist video up. Hopefully, if I get it done in time for the 11th for JD's John Buscema project. So it's gonna be on John Buscema, if you could guess it. Nice. So I've put it together. I just need to record the audio. I'm working on editing the community project that I did last month, which is, I was telling these guys, either going to be a dumpster fire or make everyone cry. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to fall anywhere in between on that spectrum.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a dumpster fire from you. You seem
that doesn't seem to ring any bells.
Yeah, but I have to use everyone else's content, so.
He just blamed all of us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everyone did a great job. I also am planning on doing, somehow, I'm still working out how I want to do it, but my Strangers in Paradise recap videos, and Sam Keith sometime. Yeah, DS. I'd love to do Sam Keith. I like that dude a lot. There's my perspective. No, I was kidding. I'll do a video. I think he is interesting. I was a big fan of the Max back in the day.
TJ's bragging about a new AOK in the mail that's so heavy he's having trouble lifting it. And he's also talking about doing a tag video for Comics NYC, which we should probably throw out that next week on your channel, we have Mr. Comics NYC joining us.
Oh wow, nice. Way to go. That's good.
So we'll have Comics NYC joining us, and it'll be something totally exciting for me because I've been watching his videos for so long. It'd be nice to chat with him in person, but also like it's going to be this great like performance art piece because he's going to be able to show the book the whole time whenever he's talking.
Right.
And we'll just have that great that voice leading us all along.
One last thing I want to mention is Matt Donatos and I are doing The Cut this Sunday night.
Oh, I forgot about that. What time's that?
Probably going to be around 10:30 Eastern. I'm hoping 10:30.
What are you doing on that show? What are you guys going over on The Cut?
It's top secret.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I mean, sort of.
No, that is cool for sure. Nice.
It should be entertaining though, huh?
It's the first episode of this.
Yeah, we did kind of like a dry experiment run with TJ watching, and he gave us some feedback, and
nice.
It should be interesting. Yeah, we have giant pairs of scissors, and we're just opening new restaurants.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to see that.
So you just barely beat me to that joke because I was talking to Ryan about what The Cut was, and this is the first 5 answers I gave him were The Cut's a deli show where they look for the perfect slice of meat.
Nice.
The Cut is an editing show where they're discussing great skills in cinema. The Cut is a first aid show about how to apply Band-Aids. The Cut is a hairstyling competition. It's a show about teaching children how to use scissors.
So I was thinking mowing the yard or something.
Those are all better than what I came up with. Can I share? So I was hoping that my buddies from First Issue Club were going to be able to join me last night on my chat, but they weren't. And I had this whole thing prepped where they have this episode, and I mentioned this in my chat last night, but I think it was episode 51 where they pitched a bunch of new comic ideas, and they're all just joke ideas like the illiterate Aquaman and 2.5 X-Men and stuff like that. So I came up with 2 to kind of come in on join on the fun, but they didn't get to join, so I didn't get to share them. So if you would indulge me,
somebody's going to cash in on that, and you guys don't have any copyright now.
Oh, they TM. So the 2 I came up with are Luke Skywalker, Texas Ranger, where R2 gets damaged, so when Luke jumps to light speed, he accidentally arrives in 1990s Texas, where he has to get a job alongside Chuck Norris as a Texas Ranger while they figure out how to get home. And the other one was Skewer You, Bub. It's a prequel to Return of Wolverine, where he's stuck on another dimension's Earth where the X-Men don't exist, so he tries his hand at being the host of a cooking show based on kebab cooking, where he uses his claws as skewers. But no one watches, so that's when he tries to get back to 616.
Well, if he's got a hot claws, he wouldn't even have to put it over a barbecue. You just put them on his claws and cook them, right?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, so there's my dumb ideas.
TJ Watson says that to wrap the AOK, he took a whole roll of bubble wrap from work, and they asked him what it was for, and he said, "Have you ever watched Dexter?" That is the correct answer. That is the correct answer. Do you know what a kill room is?
Yeah, because either people are just going to be too uncomfortable to ask any follow-ups, but know that you're joking.
It's also going to be the loudest kill room ever, right?
Bubble wrap, yeah.
That's what I like American Horror Story. I'll admit I watched the show, but like the first season with the guy in the rubber suit, all I could think of the whole time is how loud that suit has to be. How does this guy sneak? I know he's like supposed to be a ghost or whatever, but how the heck does he sneak up on anybody?
What do you got going on?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's my turn. I just posted a video on Sunday night. We were doing a boxing video for Kachung, so he can't watch it, but everybody else can check it out. We were decorating the Christmas tree. We were busting up ornaments. We were choosing the book that we were going to send out. And Jeffrey you know, right before we went live, Jeffrey had sent 2 ornaments to replace the one that Charlie dropped. It was the sweetest thing ever. And the girls were super pumped opening it, and they're already on the Christmas tree. So that I'll have to text you a picture of where they landed.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great.
So I posted that on Sunday. Friday night, I'm on The Hunt. Tony Sanders is hosting us, I believe, still. He hosts all of these, I think. JD and Jeffrey are there, and we are trying to prove that we did the best at finding the best books these last couple of weeks. So I've been stressing because I've been trying to
better than mine.
I don't want to get disqualified for my picks here.
No, you're fine. You're probably gonna beat me anyways, so it doesn't matter.
I gotta say my hustle of the week is out there. It's an out there pick.
That's cool. Mine is not that much of a hustle, really, but
it's pretty good. I know what John's is. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. And then of course Saturday morning I'll be doing comics with the girls. They're almost done with Bone. They're getting pretty far along with Bone, so they're gonna hopefully be able to do a breakdown video of that at some point with me, because I gotta read it. And when they're done, I get to have my turn reading it.
Yeah, definitely. That was a gift for all of you.
Yeah, for sure. I don't care if it's not for me.
You're gonna read.
It doesn't matter. I read all the all new Wolverines that Big Will sent to my girls. I read all those. It's all free reign except for my books. They're not allowed to touch my books.
Yeah,
right.
But it goes the other way around.
Yes,
it's a one-way.
She was, Wingnut. Don't worry. She was upset when she broke that ornament, but she gets over it. She's a tough one. She's 8. She gets over it, and she was right back in there. She was more embarrassed that I was talking about it to on Instagram or on YouTube at the same time. It was more of an embarrassment issue than a tragic I broke an ornament thing. That's more what it was.
Hulk Nuts wants to know what next week's book is.
Oh, yeah. So we have Comics NYC joining us, and we are going to be doing Batman Damned issue 1.
Nope.
I got that.
Batman
Who I totally messed that up. Oh, jeez.
I thought you tried to be funny.
There you go.
No, I was totally blew that.
There's a sneak peek at the
Thank you.
The thumbnail for next week. Batman
Sorry, I will do that again.
Yeah,
next
take 2. We can cut this out, right?
We have Comics NYC, and we're doing the Batman Who Laughs issue 1.
But we will also be discussing Batman Damned 2 briefly, because how can we not?
Was in my head. Yeah, that comes out next week as well, so I'm sure we'll have a lot of Batman talk going on. We will revisit Batwang or something at some point.
I'm hoping for some full-on bat balls.
Oh geez. I'll tell you, my biggest worry was that they got so much backlash on the first thing that we lost out on some really good action in this next one, as far as like whatever hot woman Batman's going to hook up with. We just lost on that. We're going to miss out on that.
There had to be a reason they delayed it.
Right? I was thinking that the reason they did the guy first was so that it gave them freedom to like do whatever they wanted. Like, oh, we're equal opportunity nudists on these.
Giving time for the first one to spike up in price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so I feel like it would have been like smarter for them just to release it immediately, because it was so hyped. But I don't know. I guess maybe someone will leak it somewhere.
Yeah, it's been a mess, honestly. Like,
the artist,
it was recalled, and then it wasn't recalled, and then it was recalled again, and then they're like not going to release a second printing, and then they are going to release a second printing, but it's not going to come till way later. Yeah. It's like,
well, Wingnut says Harley in the Buff. I was just about to say the artist who did White Knight released an unedited version of a scene where they put the word bubbles over Harley's boobs. So.
I just think they made way too big of a freaking fuss.
Yeah, who cares? It's a wiener.
Especially with all this censorship books that were coming out. Like, it's not like they just put Batman out there with his balls hanging out. You know what I mean? Like, the way that they did it, like, you had to look for it. Like, it's not like it was a pervy thing. You know what I mean?
I think it was definitely blown out of proportion, which is a shame if it affects artistic integrity in later stories. That's the worst part about it.
I think
just come in like broken and beat down. He's trying to get out of his suit and like get like examine jamming and checked out. You know, it's not like it's some sex scene or some shit.
I think
that's what it should have been.
I think people are only upset about it because it's Batman, because there's plenty of books with wieners in it.
Well, I think they would have been more upset if it was Superman.
Like there's a more gratuitous wiener shot in Y the Last Man. Well, not gratuitous, but like obvious.
I've seen more gratuitous stuff on Instagram. Like,
sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought Batman Damn One was great. I can't wait to read number 2.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to read Batman Laughs.
For sure.
Yeah. 110K print run for Batwing. Yeah, and like 10.0s are the new 9.8s for that book.
Oh, geez. All right, well, I thank you for everybody for coming. Thank you, Jeffrey, for joining us here. That was so awesome.
Man, thank you guys.
I finally got the whole cast of The Hunt to appear on the show, so we've gotten everybody.
We did it. 2018 goals.
Yeah, I'm done now. This show's over.
Hey.
So next week we're on White Whale's channel. We're doing Batman Who Laughs 1.
Nailed it.
And we've got Comics NYC with us. So stay tuned for that next time. Thanks everybody, and have a good night.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Bye.